All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. JJ McCarthy, you are a Minnesota Viking, and no, they did not have to give up an arm or a leg for pick number 4 or pick number 5. The Minnesota Vikings traded with the New York Jets. They gave the Jets pick number 11, 129, and 157, and they received pick number 10, where they just selected JJ McCarthy, and they also received pick number 203. I actually don't think this possibly could have gone better for the Minnesota Vikings. We have been talking on this channel about JJ McCarthy to Minnesota for so long now. This guy is NFL ready. Folks, he's Kirk Cousins, but he's younger, he's more athletic, and more importantly, folks, he's cheaper. And also, the Atlanta Falcons just drafted Michael Penix Jr. I think Michael Penix Jr. is a really good talent, but that was an interesting trade, or an interesting selection. Minnesota trading up one selection to take JJ. Folks, this is a game changer. Guys, you're throwing to Justin Jefferson. You're throwing to Jordan Addison. You're throwing to TJ Hawkinson. You're also throwing to Aaron Jones. I also anticipate the Minnesota Vikings to select some type of wide receiver at some point in this draft. But folks, before we get any further into tonight's video, if you enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We host a ton of Vikings videos on this channel, so if we could try and get it to 500 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So, I'm watching the draft, and I'm also, for these videos, because I'm pumping them out right now, I'm reading the CBS. I've got the CBS Sports app, and I'm going to go through what they said about the Vikings pick. They graded JJ McCarthy to Minnesota as a C+. Absolutely redacted, in my opinion. This is from Pete Prisco. They had to fill the quarterback spot, so it makes sense to take McCarthy. I don't love him as much as others do, but it will be interesting to see how Kevin O'Connell and gang make him work. Unreal, dude. I actually can't believe that JJ McCarthy just fell onto Minnesota's lap at pick number 10. I don't give a rat's ass what they gave up. I literally could not care less what they gave up to select JJ and trade up one pick. By the way, it really wasn't much. It was like a half stale bag of chips. JJ McCarthy, once again, and like Vikings fans who've been watching this channel for the last month or so, we've been talking about it like every other day. JJ McCarthy to the Minnesota Vikings gets this team back on track. It's not a rebuild. It's not even like a retool. It's more of a reboot in the sense of Justin Jefferson is so young. TJ Hawkinson is still young. Jordan Addison, obviously coming off a rookie season, had one of the more underappreciated rookie years that I saw last year. And I think it just had to do with the sense that Kirk Cousins got injured 8 weeks into the regular season. I like a lot of the moves that this team did, but it was always just kind of this, if they get this guy, then they're all right. We were talking about Michael Penix. We were talking about Bo Nix as kind of like second tier of Vikings quarterbacks as far as the first round goes. I love it. And by the way, the Minnesota Vikings are not done. You still have your 20 at the time of this recording, might I add, because I'm pumping these out right as it comes. You technically, at the time of this recording, still have pick number 23. So defensive line, interior offensive line, wide receiver, edge rusher, cornerback, it remains to be seen. By the time some of you guys watch this video, it'll probably already be known. I love this pick. JJ McCarthy, to me, gets such a bad rap, and I think just players coming out of the University of Michigan get a bad rap in general. JJ really is going to elevate the squad, but in a more long-term sense. One of the things, as we alluded to in the beginning of this video, one of the things we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks on this channel is JJ is literally Kirk Cousins, but younger, cheaper, and more athletic than Captain Kirk. I love Kirk Cousins, and he did so much for Minnesota. He did so much for the city of Minneapolis. You went 13-4 2 years ago, right? And unfortunately, you lost to the New York Giants in the wild card round of the playoffs, and it was just so underwhelming. And so many Vikings fans, even though I'm a cheesehead, you guys were so excited, rightfully so, about this past year, and it started so slow, and finally things start coming to fruition, things start to click, and unfortunately Kirk Cousins goes down with an injury. And so they fly Josh Dobbs out, and Josh Dobbs has a couple of weeks where he's this freaking stud, keeping the Vikings season alive, keeping you in the playoff hopes, and just like that, obviously it's Josh Dobbs. Like, he's not a starting caliber quarterback in the National Football League, and it is what it is. And you went to Nick Mullins, you went to Jaron Hall briefly. I was shocked and still am shocked at the backlash that Kevin O'Connell got from last season's second half. Folks, I don't care if you're Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. I don't care who your starting quarterback is. When your starting QB goes down with a season-ending injury, aka Kirk Cousins' Achilles injury, your team is going to suck. Your team is going to suffer. And I don't care how good of a head coach you are. I don't care what your personnel looks like. By the way, obviously, Alexander Mattison didn't work. In a year removed from Dalvin Cook, Alexander Mattison didn't work, right? Justin Jefferson got injured for a huge bulk of the season. Like, it's clear as day that last year's faults and flaws and season outcome was not solely on Kevin O'Connell and his play calling and his schemes. I find that quite laughable. JJ McCarthy, to me, is perfect for the Minnesota Vikings. And once again, we've been talking about this for so freaking long on this channel. I absolutely love the fit. As we know, where you land matters. And if you're giving me one of the best, if not the best wide receiver in Justin Jefferson, a young rising stud wide receiver in Jordan Addison, a solidified quote-unquote veteran tight end in TJ Hockenson, who's as good as they come, and you acquire Aaron Jones from the Green Bay Packers, from my Green Bay Packers, that's a great starting point. And we're going to sprinkle in Kevin O'Connell and his offensive genius and that really solid offensive line and a young, rising, new defense led by Brian Flores coming off his first season as the defensive coordinator. You picked up guys like Blake Cashman. You picked up guys like Jonathan Greenard. The storyline all offseason, and it probably still will be, actually maybe not because they selected JJ McCarthy, the storyline all offseason's been, Minnesota lost Kirk Cousins, who won one playoff game in 6 years. They lost Danielle Hunter, who was just paid like $100 million for 2 freaking seasons. Minnesota is playing the long run, as you should, when you have that wide receiving trio and you've got that running back room. And once again, I'm watching the Colts pick at 15 at the time of this recording. You're not done, not only in the NFL draft, but you're not done on day one. So this Vikings team is going to be really freaking good very soon. And I love the pick of JJ McCarthy. So thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. We'll get a video out to you guys tomorrow based on whatever they decide to do with their other first round pick. But guys, let me know your thoughts on JJ McCarthy to the Minnesota Vikings.